Hi, my name is Kamelia Hanisofea Binti Hazlysyam. So in this presentation, I will be talking about neurology, the power of the mind. So I will be focusing on a specialist in this field, the anatomy and physiology of the nervous system, the biochemistry behind it, and an example of a neurological disease along with advanced technology used in its management. So I chose this topic because my grandfather had a stroke, and seeing how it affected his daily life made me curious to learn more about how the brain works and how medicine can help patients recover and improve their quality of life. So what is neurology? Neurology is the branch of medicine that deals with the structure, function, and disorder of the nervous system. It focuses on the brain, spinal cord, and the peripheral nerve. The brain alone contains around 86 billion neurons, each forming thousands of connections, creating an intricate network. So this complexity allows us to think, learn, move, sense pain or pleasure, and even regulate vital functions like heart rate, breathing, and hormone secretion. The specialist for this SSM is Dr. Vigneswaran Mataneswaran, a neurologist with extensive experience in stroke management. Apart from clinical practice, Dr. Vigneswaran contributes to research and development in neurological technology, such as intervention to restore blood flow in stroke or assistive device for patients with movement disorders. His work demonstrates how modern neurology integrates clinical skill with innovation to improve patient outcomes. Through his guidance and published research, we can see how neurology is not just about treating disease, but also about understanding mechanism and improving patient care through technology. Moving on to the nervous system anatomy, the nervous system can be divided into a central and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. The brain is further divided into regions where we have the cerebrum, which is responsible for voluntary movement, memory, and higher cognitive function like thinking and problem solving. Next, we have the cerebellum, which coordinates balance and fine motor movement. Next, we have the brainstem, which controls vital function like breathing, heartbeat, and blood pressure. We also have the spinal cord, which acts as a communication highway transmitting signals between the brain and body. Moving on to the peripheral nervous system, which includes cranial and spinal nerve that connects the CNS to muscles, skin, and internal organs. This structure allows precise and rapid communication, enabling reflexes, voluntary action, and sensation. For example, when touching a hot object, sensory nerve instantly sends signal to the spinal cord, which then triggers to a reflex to withdraw the hand even before the brain consciously processes the pain. Next, for the nervous system physiology, the nervous system have four main roles, which is integration, means the nervous system collects information from all over the body, like sensation from the skin, eye, and ears, and processing it to make decisions. Second, we have communication, occurs when neurons transmit electrical signal called action potential from one part of the body to another. Thirdly, we have control, which involves coordinating voluntary movements such as walking or picking up objects. Lastly, we have regulation, which covers involuntary function like heartbeat, breathing, digestion, and hormone secretion. To understand this, we can look at the action potential on the slide. This graph shows the electrical changes in a neuron in response to a stimulus. The resting potential is the stable state of the neuron at about negative 70 millivolts. When a stimulus exceeds a certain threshold, sodium ion rush into the neuron, causing depolarization, which is the rising phase of the graph. Next, potassium ions flow out, restoring the resting potential in the repolarization phase. Sometimes, the membrane potential temporarily dips below the resting potential called after hyperpolarization before stabilizing. This action potential travels along the neuron, carrying the signal quickly and precisely. It's important to note that these electrical signals eventually reach the synapse where they trigger the release of chemical messenger called neuron transmitter, which we will be discussed in the next slide. In short, the action potential demonstrates how the nervous system integrates information, communication rapidly, control movement, and regulate vital function throughout the body. Now, we move on to a critical process in the nervous system called synaptic transmission. This is how neurons communicate with each other or with muscle and glands using chemical signal. Synaptic transmission begins when an action potential, which is an electrical signal, travels down the axon and reaches the axon terminal. This triggers voltage-gated calcium channel to open, allowing calcium ions to enter the neuron. The influx of calcium is essential because it signals synaptic vesicle, which contain neurotransmitter, to move toward the presynaptic membrane. This vesicle then fused with the membrane and releases neurotransmitter into synaptic curve, the small space between the presynaptic neuron and the postsynaptic cell. This is the neurotransmitter release step. Once in the synaptic curve, neurotransmitter binds to specific receptor on the postsynaptic membrane. There are two main types of receptor. First, we have ionotropic receptor. These are fast-acting. When neurotransmitter binds, ion channel open immediately, allowing ions like sodium, potassium, or chloride to flow in or out, which quickly changes the postsynaptic cell electrical potential. Next, we have metabotropic receptor. These are slower and act through secondary messenger system, leading to longer-lasting effects such as changes in gene expression or neuron excitability. The result of this binding can be excitatory, where the postsynaptic neuron is more likely to fire an action potential, or inhibitory, where it is less likely to fire. For example, glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter in the brain, while GABA is inhibitory. A classic example of synaptic transmission is the neuromuscular junction, where acetylcholine is released by the neuron, binds to nicotinic receptor on the muscle fiber, and opens sodium channels, causing muscle contraction. In summary, synaptic transmission, neurotransmitter release, and receptor binding together form the biochemical language of the nervous system. They allow precise communication between cells, coordinating everything from movement and sensation to mood and memory, also cognition. One of the most advanced technology in stroke management is endovascular thrombectomy. In this procedure, a catheter is inserted into an artery, usually in the groin, and guided to the blocked cerebral vessel. A device called a stent retriever or suction system removes the clot. Studies have shown that patients treated within 6 hours of system onset have significantly better outcomes with improved motor function and reduced long-term disability. This technology represents the integration of anatomy, physiology, and technology, understanding vascular pathway, neuron vulnerability, and clot mechanics to restore brain function. It also highlights how neurologists and interventional radiologists work together for precision treatment. One of the most important neurological disorders is stroke or cerebrovascular accident. Stroke occurs when the blood supply to part of the brain is interrupted, which leading to cell death. There are two main types of stroke. First, we have ischemic stroke, which caused by a clot or blockage, and second, we have hemorrhagic stroke caused by bleeding from a ruptured blood vessel, and the risk factor includes hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, and smoking. Clinically, stroke can present with sudden weakness, facial dropping, speech difficulties, or vision problems. Early intervention is critical because the longer the brain is deprived of oxygen, the greater the damage. According to Mayo Clinic, prompt treatment can reduce disability and improve recovery. So, in conclusion, neurology demonstrates the intricate relationship between structure, function, and disease in the human nervous system. Studying stroke show how quickly disruption in blood flow affect neurons and why timely intervention is critical. Advanced procedure like endovascular thrombectomy exemplify how innovation can save life and restore function. This SSM has deepened my appreciation for the complexity of the brain, the importance of medical research, and the potential of technology to transform patient care. Neurology is a field where small action can lead to life-changing outcomes, emphasizing the need for precision, knowledge, and compassion in medicine. Thank you.